is the next port of call here for our championship. We've seen his, we've seen theirs, and we've seen just about everywhere's, but these are the final 4 rounds coming into play, and have points been any more important than they have been at this point in time? Welcome to the party, welcome to the conversation for the Crest Autosport IndyCar Oval Series here at this beautiful track. I'm Jake Sparrow, bringing you all of the action here today, brought to you by Apex Tracks, the motorsport and motor racing circuit wall art racetrack sculpture creators, manufactured using F1 and motorsport-inspired rapid prototyping technologies, along with Track Racer, lovely stickers, 603 Autosport, Digital Motorsport, Esports Sim, and the GP box, as we're getting ourselves into play here with Crest Autosport TV via Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Welcome along, like, follow, subscribe. Well, however you do it, whatever platform you're on, make sure that you're in the party and you're in the conversation, getting yourself ready for some amazing action overall. Some things change over the course of the season, some things do remain the same as well, but today is a change to the qualifying format that we are going to be moving on forward, and that is going to be key for the final 4 races of this championship through Michigan, Kentucky, Chicagoland, and of course the finale at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Wednesday, December the 8th. So that is very much in mind. That is what we've got as our focus coming up. And now you've got the here's, the there's, and the everywheres. Who can do what out there over the course of a season? So we've got ourselves a whole heap of everything to get ourselves through. Qualifying is going to be interesting. There's the schedule, as we can say. We're at Michigan today, Kentucky, Chicagoland, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That is how the season is going to bring itself over towards a close, and the battle becomes all that more intense as we get ourselves towards the end of the season. But as we know, qualifying is going to be different. It used to be close qualifying. Everyone tries to get themselves out there and put as much of a good 2 laps in as they can. They still have to do 2 laps, but we've moved from a closed server to an open server, but it will be 1-shot qualifying, 1 at a time. So you get 2 laps to go out there. They'll be called out 1 at a time, and all of that focus and effort is going to need to be put into play. Michigan is one of those circuits where, by all intents, it's got the cookie cutter feel to it. It's a 1.5 miler. You got to be pretty much on your toes around this place to make sure that you get it into the right perspective. And we're not going to be seeing too much of a drop in terms of speed. They're already up there at around 360 kilometers an hour, trying to make those challenges through the corners as much as the parabolic banking will allow, and really give them an opportunity to run. So the good news for them here today is that we're in afternoon overcast conditions. Track temperature is 23 degrees. And it's worth noting you've got a wind coming in from the northwest at 23 kilometers an hour, which tells you all you need to know about today. It's going to be a bit breezy, and it's going to be a little bit difficult as they go out there and try and put as much of a challenge as they possibly can together. Thijs Barendregt there, the championship leader, out there on screen at this point in time, where he was. We're about 30 seconds away from moving over into the qualifying efforts that we have moving forward. But the championship, as things stands, the difference maker with 1 drop round showing here instead of the 2. We'll show that second drop round going into the final round of the championship. It is Thijs Barendregt who has control of that by 4 points over Alex Everitt. Then Dave Steadman finds himself in a very lonely 3rd position overall. You got the likes of Andy Scott 4th, Leonardo Paletta should be up there in the order, as well as Morales. So Morales, Paletta, and Scott. Then Ollie Peters, there as they go through and they look to try and sort themselves out the best that they possibly can at this point in time. But they know that this is going to be an important battle. The top 2 are there. We have now moved ourselves over into qualifying. So we will have that opportunity to look at who is going to be where and who can do exactly what is needed and when. And the focus should be on who can put their best times going forward. So first out then will be Jürgen Pedersen. I do apologize here if you don't have any picture in front of you at this point in time, but we are keeping ourselves into a very strong position. So they'll be getting themselves out there and racing. And hopefully when drivers get themselves moving forward, and Jürgen Pedersen has got himself the cue to go, and will be taking his 2 laps then as quickly as he possibly can around. They know that they are under some strict qualifying conditions at this point in time. And because they are, and we do apologise here, we'll go radio for a bit. They know that this is going to be a long challenge here today as they look to put their 2 laps. Look at that, a bit of picture. How about that then? But here is the charge is going forward. Jürgen Pedersen at this point in time, making the run through the big long left of 3 and 4. Look to gear up that first lap. Can't afford anything to go wrong. And as such, here's the first lap going. 350 Ks over the stripe. They're trying to launch it as much as possible. They can see the order of how they qualify out there today. So keep that in focus. Andy Scott will not be taken to qualifying. He never does. And that is a choice that he makes, just making sure that he's got as safe a run as possible, electing not to qualify. But through 3 and 4, first lap then for Jürgen Pedersen. Should be an interesting one out there at this point in time. And very interesting, it is a 32.6, the opening effort. He'll have 1 more lap to get going, and then Tim Stroh, who is one of the favourites here today, as he traditionally is, will be out there and will be making that all-important push. And we'll be certainly hoping for as much of a challenge here going through in towards where it needs to be. So out of 3 and 4, 32.6 currently the quickest time, and coming to the line, that is a 32.549. So the improvement very much there. So now will be the number 44 that's going to be there, and it should be an interesting fight to see whether this time is going to be up there and how the track is going to evolve as the race goes forward. So you know that this is going to be a very long challenge out there today. You know that it's going to be 75 laps worth of racing, but you've got to get as much out of these laps as possible. Stroh getting right down next to the apron there on the left-hand side, and with every intent of focus, the challenge then coming over the line is a 32.4, so immediately quicker than Jürgen Pedersen. They're not going to have any draft to help them out in terms of sorting their laps out, but at least for Timothy Stroh, he knows better than anybody else. He's got to put a good lap here. This second lap is going to be used as a benchmark for everybody else moving through 3 and 4. So will this be enough? Flicking about that 6th gear, trying to get as much out of this lap as possible. And over towards the line. That is not an improvement on the second lap, so that doesn't pay off the way it should do. But this will now lead, first time in a few weeks, we've seen Jeremy Pronk out there on circuit in the number 52 car. It's nice to see Jeremy out there racing, giving it all that he's got. And someone who does have the ability to throw the cat among the pigeons on a certain amount of races. And he will be definitely someone with eyes to keep up with over the course of this season. Pronk, in terms of what he's been capable to do, does have the 1 race win to his name this season, and would certainly love to continue on that trend, making this first lap now try and work. So I'm just coming out a little bit, that will heat the track up ever so slightly, and you've got to keep your eye out on whether that track is getting heat or is losing heat out there over the course of the run, and you are at the mercy of the server, some would say, in these sorts of conditions. So making that charge through 3 and 4 once again. This will be the first attempt. We'll see whether Pronk's got a good time out of this opening lap. Answer is 32.493. Good enough to go second fastest at this moment. Right up to the wall. Trying to maximise this run down. And doesn't go all the way down to the bottom line, but to the second groove. And trying to get as much opened as possible. Running a little bit in the middle of the lane for this charge in towards 3 and 4. And looking for that run once again back into the tri-oval. And over towards the line. We'll see what time it is from Pronk. And it does not count. That hit on the wall did not count the lap. So out of the pits will go Alexander Rogenbuck, who has been a consistent driver this season. Hasn't had the turn of pace to really stick up there in terms of overall. Surprised quite a few people actually in practice last week when he put a second fastest time in comparison to everyone. So there is maybe some pace out there on circuit for Alexander Rogenbuck. He just needs to usurp it and find it at this point in time would be the right way of saying it at this moment. But as he looks to gear it up in the very German machine, it's got the yellow, the red and the black of the national colours. Here is the drive, and here we go, moving through 1 and 2, trying to get as much out of that middle to low line as possible, and moving up the circuit, carrying a fair bit of speed, 220 miles an hour, and 222. Flicking it in, doesn't really use all of the banking here as going on through. It's a case of just staying it high, which will cost a little bit of time, maybe not as much confidence in the rear of the car. And that is a 32.8 with that opening lap. So that second lap is certainly going to be very, very important to keep in mind. Whether that can be improved is 0.3 of a second away from the likes of Jürgen Pedersen. They say when it comes to ovals, a tenth is the equivalent of a second. So So for 0.3 of a second back, you're about 3 seconds back in terms of time relative to where you would be traditionally on a road track. And over the line, that is an improvement to a 6.96. So good enough then in terms of time for Alexander Rogenbach to get up to speed. That will now leave Ollie Peters as the next driver in. Andy Scott will not be taking his place in. And so we're almost at the halfway stage then of qualifying. Drivers look at what the benchmark is. It's Stroh, then Pronk, and Jürgen Pedersen in third position. So Stroh is followed by the two JPs in the league. And now it's all about focus for Ollie Peters. Hasn't been able to recapture the same form that got him up to a really strong pole position at Phoenix. I think outside of that, it has been a little bit more difficult to find the right result out there. But we'll see with this first lap where the Crest Autosport car can go. And through 1 and 2, it's looking very, very solid. At this point in time, already up at 2:21, finding the pace. Just carrying it a little bit better than what Rogenbach did. Again, nice and high, leaning it down low all the way to the apron. And just trying to keep it as low as possible here on that run to the line. First lap comes in. It's a 5:40. That's not bad. Still attempt to find the pole position. That's third fastest as things currently stand. A little bit of a stabby movement though through 1 and 2. That's going to really compromise the speed. I think this lap will be an abandon, but we'll go for the line anyway with the turquoise rims. You see there around the tyre, but making that run through 3 and 4 once again. Moving up towards the line. Don't expect too much out of this lap. And the answer is 6.92. So 1 and 2 doing the damage there. And Ollie Peters, not much you can say or do about that. The time just bled away in terms of it. So no Andy Scott. He chooses not to take his qualifying times. But Leonardo Paletta here, the Italian, has been a very consistent runner this season. He's always surprised and prodded around for some pretty solid laps, it has to be said. But now it's all about focus. A driver who could have very easily have picked up the win at Motegi, but that one fell ultimately by the wayside with Thijs Barendrecht's fight into 3 and 4. But here comes Paletta then, looking to try and usurp the 44 of Timothy Stroh for all of the dominance that Stroh has had. And for all of the quickness that Timothy Stroh has very much had, it has been a case of unable to secure a victory so far. Timothy Stroh's had 3 pole positions on his 3 starts and 3 podium finishes to go along with them, but unable so far to pick up the victory. Paletta would love to take a pole position away from Stroh in the 44 machine. The 22, which is half of 44, makes a 4.92. Just by 1,000th ahead of Jeremy Pronk. This second lap's going to have to be crucial here in terms of carrying that pace. 2.22 through the corners, down to just 2.20, a little flick into 2.19, moving and migrating up the circuits, looking very lovely here. This lap from Leonardo Paletta. He's just got to carry that same momentum on tyres that will be starting to just fade a little bit through 3 and 4 as they are really trying to get as much as they can out of the laps. And over the line, it's a 5.44, so no improvement there. Leonardo Paletta unable to make the second lap work. Alfredo Morales will be the next driver then out on circuit, we believe, unless there is a choice not to take that lap. But ultimately, that is the next question that we will see, whether it is going to be an opportunity needed, and Morales will take that chance of waiting as long as possible to get ready and sort out the outlap then here from Michigan. And this Michigan International Speedway once again proving a tough challenge out there in qualifying to get all of the time needed out there on circuit. The thing with one lap qualifying is if it doesn't quite go your way, you're left with a lot of work to do over 75 laps worth of racing. But on board with the Venezuelan, currently residing in Canada. And this is the charge. as the run towards 1 and 2 begins in earnest. Carrying very nice speed here, getting a lot of turn in, scrubbing a little bit there to about 354 k's, about 219 miles an hour in that 6th gear. And then it's that next flick over 3 and 4, getting nice and low, and then just moving up the circuit. Have to gather it back down low again. Coming to the line, that's a 4.84, which is good enough for 2nd position. Jumps his teammates in Paletta. So it'll be a case of can you find it again. Still 600ths to find. 0.055. Effectively the margin to try and chase down. It's always a little bit more difficult in the 2nd lap. You are searching on what is a very adaptable circuit and adaptable in changing conditions for the right lap. And Morales coming over towards the line. It's a 5.45, not good enough. So they keep chalking off the laps, and Stroh keeps on holding on to position. But now here's the driver that was the fastest in practice. 3rd in the championship, Dave Steadman. He's got an outside shot of the championship right now. Hasn't been able to hold that same level in comparison to the top 2. Missed the opening round, has already dropped it. And so if you feel there is a late charge in the championship coming from car number 74, it's got to be perfect from here on out to give himself a realistic shot of glory here in this one. Steadman knows he's got to get these laps sorted. He's got to get as much as he can from them. 356 Ks over the stripe and right up against the wall. Moving in through 1 and 2. Drops a lot of speed early. Gathers it right up again in the middle of the corner. There's 220 on exit. So taking these very, very deliberate lines here at Michigan. Trying to take the natural out to in to out. Just run up the circuit off of the exit. See how that first lap goes. And how much the track has worked. Steadman crosses. It's a 5.11 only. That's good enough for 5th place. So a little bit of scrubbing in the early stages of trying to get that lap sorted is really not helping things out there, and already dropping down to about 2.18 coming off of the exit. That's not going to be helping. So Steadman's time, only 5th fastest at the moment. He's just ahead of Ollie Peters. He's just behind Jeremy Prong. If there's anything there, he's got to go and look for it. Little wiggle off of the exit, and a challenge is 5.68, and that is all sorted. Quite funny here is the way that this is all going is that Alex Everitt here has been calling everyone in and out of the pits, and he's just had to call himself out of the pits as he was driving in the car. So he found that a little bit of an interesting scenario. Running a new livery out there, the GP box car is certainly looking striking in orange today, and we'll see whether that orange is going to be a message to the Dutchman in the number 2 car. So 4.29, the time to beat, set by Timothy Stroh. Everitt, the Welshman, getting back to winning form last time out. We'll be hoping that with the way that the 2nd drop goes in, that he's in a favourable position. If we put the 2nd drop in today, he'd be 4 points ahead. As it stands with the 1 drop so far, he's 4 points back. So he just wants to continue to ratchet up the scoring points, and someone who could very easily put a cat amongst the pigeons. Everitt then crosses for the first lap. It's a 4.70. It's good enough for 2nd. Jumps Morales, but again, it's only out by 0.04 of a second. By oval logic, that's 0.4 of a second. So work to be done to reach the 44 of Timothy Stroh. Again, making that progress here towards 3 and 4. Everything seems to blur on the outside of the circuit. You're always focusing, turning your head to that inside left and forcing as much as you can. And so here comes Everitt to the line, and he does a 5.28. Can't improve on it, which leaves only 1 left. So Everitt, not enough. 2nd position. But what about this guy? Thijs Barendregt, who has very, very calmly got on with his season. Hasn't finished at all this season outside of the podium places. A driver who has had 8 races, 8 top 3 finishes, but just the 2 wins to his name. And he'll be looking for a 3rd win of the season to bring some ground back, knowing he's got some very heavy drops over the course of this season so far. So this is Barendregt now, trying to get as much as he can out of this one. He's high, moving down the circuit, trying to get as much as he can out of it. 221, 220, a small flick, getting back on the power, fantastic through 1 and 2. Just lisking, trying to get as little turn as possible out of the front wheels, as little scrubbing as possible. Now through 3 and 4. What can Thijs Barendregt find? He's got to beat a 4.29 from Stroh, who's 100% this season on pole positions. Barendregt up high, it's a 5.52, but he's got another lap. He is there in 9th position at this moment, so he's got to find something in this 2nd lap. And if he does find what he needs out of this 2nd lap, he will be moving up the order. You can see how tightly congested it is. 1/10 can throw him up into 2nd position from 9th at this point in time. Barendregt through 3 and 4. Looking to get as much of a run, as low as possible he goes, as close to the apron, and he does not improve. So a shocking 1-shot quali. Barendregt is well outside of the order. And so everybody is done from qualifying. Timothy Stroh has got pole position, and Thijs Barendregt is well out of the order and is going to find himself down in 9th place. It's got a lot of hallmarks here on what is an interesting race at Michigan. And if anything can and will be done, it's going to be hard-earned through 75 laps today. Let's get qualifying results then up on screen for everyone as we will move ourselves over towards the warm-up. Confirmation is the number 44 car has got pretty much everything sorted by qualifying. Timothy Stroh getting it done by just 0.04 of a second ahead of Alex Everitt, the championship 2nd place at this point in time, but soon potentially to be the leader, with Alfredo Morales 3rd, Leonardo Paletta, the 2 ALP cars go from 3rd and 4th, Jeremy Pronk 5th, Dave Stedman down there in 6th, and it's Ollie Peters, Jürgen Pedersen, Thijs Barendregt in 9th, and Alexander Rogenbuck in 10th. And as is traditional with the Quantum Racing car, Andy Scott in 11th will be not taking to the starting grid, and will very much, in terms of what is going on today, we'll be starting from the back as per usual, which isn't too much of a penalty when it comes to the work that is done so far. There is Alex Everitt, 4 points back as the championship looks with 1 drop round in. And the new livery certainly got him up as high as possible. But story again, it is 100% on pole positions once more for Timothy Stroh, who is down there in the pits, just leaving his pit box now. And the importance of that is going to be rather crucial. And that crucial matter of fact is that he hasn't been able to convert one of these pole positions yet this season into a victory. Finished on the podium every time he's raced so far. He's out of it for the points. He says he's just racing this for fun, looking for every bounty he can possibly get in terms of a win. But no wins as of yet. Going to be a continuing trend here from this fantastic Michigan track. Of course, it is worth noting there are 2 Michigan circuits on the iRacing service. This is the free-to-run Michigan out there, so an earlier scan than what was before here from Brooklyn, Michigan. And the ultimate challenge that they're going to have is that it might be a slightly more bumpy surface than it would be the brand new scan. There is your championship leader, Thijs Barendregt, all to do in the race of 75 laps. And by every single metric, Thijs Barendregt knows he has got to get up that order and he's got to do it quickly. Can't afford to sit by and wait. It is expected to be pack mentality here at Michigan. You're not really dropping too much speed. Draft's going to be incredibly strong. It's going to be a case of, can you stay in range? Can you get what you need out of this track? And can you close on in with the toe in mind. In terms of seeing practice times to qualifying times, it is a very stark difference, about 0.2 of a second, the difference between the fastest qualifying time and the fastest practice time. So expect this race to go quickly and expect strategy to be key. And in a track which is expected to be pack mentality, one small issue can be massively compounded into many more larger ones. You can just see Leonardo Paletta here moving down to the low side, educating Alex Everitt on just how quickly, sorry, that's his teammate, sorry, very similar liveries there. That is Alfredo Morales, educating Alfredo Morales on how an overtake works. And you can see, you can move back through 3 and 4, and you can find it back again. Worst place to be today, probably going to be at the front of the field. Drivers want to get themselves that slingshot, as much of a run as they possibly can, as they'll charge. Paletta again, experimenting down on that low side, trying to get as much as possible out of it, and moving up quite nicely in a very strategic matter of fact. Anything is possible. Anything that can happen usually does. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be in for a treat today. 75 laps worth of action on the 9th round of your Crest Autosport in iRacing IndyCar Oval Series. So, with that in mind, probably one of the best seats in the house, Alex Everitt, front row, knows that Barendregt is many rows back and will have to work hard to get through the field. Exactly what he wanted from his qualifying effort. And now, what can you find over the course of a race here today? Watch out for drivers looking to try and make something happen. Cautions can really interrupt the strategy calls that we will see today. And we did see a caution last time out that did throw the case of do you stay out or do you keep going? And in the end, staying out worked for Alex Everitt, picking up the victory over Timothy Stroh. Will we see something similar again today as they make that push then? Check flag out in warm-up. We'll be heading ourselves down to the grid. See how everyone will be managing themselves over the course of the racing today. So, confirmation once again, Timothy Stroh on pole position with Alex Everitt there alongside for the ride. Alfredo Morales, the Venezuelan, lines up 3rd, and Leonardo Paletta goes from 4th. It's 5 different nationalities inside the top 5, with Jeremy Pronk 5th, and then Dave Stedman in 6th position, with Ollie Peters 7th, Jürgen Pedersen in 8th, Thijs Barendregt 9th, Alexander Rogenbuck in 10th, Andy Scott back there in 11th position overall. All 11 drivers are already lined up on the grid, so they will take themselves then on their one pace lap behind the iRacing sedan, the nondescript sedan of nondescript nature. And I'm sure that we're going to have ourselves a really good time with things. 75 laps will go by really quickly. One stop is expected as well. And don't expect those tyres to lose too much temperature. We're in really cold conditions. This race will go like a blur. And those northwestern winds are going to be rather important. Keep in mind, how will these drivers worry about the way that this race is going to go? How will they find themselves in position? And will this be the most all-important battle that they will have in a very, very long time? This is going to set up the run-in for the end of the season. It's a golden ticket for some. Others are going to have to grind pretty hard to get themselves back into a position. Got drivers looking for their first wins of the season. You've got drivers who feel like they've got something to prove in a season that has been average. Has this been the right time to strike? And who has got themselves the ability to stay with the pack? They make their way through 3 and 4. Pace car is going to be diving itself down then into the lane. Timothy Stroh in the 44 will have control of the field. Can only overtake off of the starts on the outside, so keep that in mind as well. Pace car dives onto the apron and into the pits. It's with Timothy Stroh. They'll be with the green flag waiting. And there he goes. There's the green. And we are underway from what is Michigan International Speedway. A nice clean start as they funnel themselves calmly into line. Move their way through 1 and 2 then. in terms of the challenge. Steadman up high, the only one really outside the lane. The front four already searching, too wide, too deep, as Paletta looks to challenge his teammate Everitt, going low, trying to get past Stroh. And immediately we are seeing the nature of the beast here for 75 laps. Everitt to the lead. Paletta up there in third. Morales going back low again, trying to search for that place. And Stroh also going low then, as they all merge up on each other and start searching. Morales still continuing though, but he'll understeer out then in the dirty air and almost into the wall. Is into the wall. Almost tags his teammate. So Morales in the wall, front suspension caved in. And as long as he keeps that on track, he should be okay. Trying to dive it down low. We stay green here at Michigan. Andy Scott also in trouble on the opening lap, is diving down into the pits. He clobbered the wall out of 1 and 2. So the dirty air is a huge factor then in terms of how they're going to race. As things stand, it's Stroh who leads. Everitt second. Pronk up into third. Paletta is fourth and in the wall as well. And Steadman in fifth. And Steadman now will move to the inside after Paletta tags the wall. And will steal another one away. Moves up into fourth place. So easily, this race can go horribly wrong if you're just not paying attention in the early goings. Barendregt, by the way, is up into 7th position through the issues we've seen. He's past Rogenbuck, he's past Pedersen. But he's got work to do with Ollie Peters and co. There is your leader, Stroh, and he'll have to be defensive here. As Everitt now will look low to the inside, trying to take the race lead away. And again, will manage to do so, moving through and getting exactly what is necessary. But Stroh again will come to the line as they cross just 1,000th in it. And Stroh now back to the point. He takes the lead away. Up high is Steadman searching. And look at this behind. Barendregt here having to do a lot of work on the low line, as he's got Leonardo Paletta going pretty much backwards with the damage. Trying to stay in play. As every way you look, there is a battle out there on track with the nature of pack mentality racing. So they've got to be alert to it. Another little look then for the race lead as Barendregt goes low on Leonardo Paletta. There is the move for the lead. Stroh back to the point. Pronk in third. Steadman in fourth. They built a gap of about 9/10 here to Ollie Peters. Ollie's got to stay in that range. Use the draft to advantage and don't fall outside of the margin. Barendregt now up into 6th position as the leaders again look to make these moves through 3 and 4. Nothing doing at the moment. Pronk's Dutch Sim Racing team car starting to chase. And we might have a 3-car scrap for the race lead in the not too distant future. Stroh goes low. Takes the lead away only for a moment. Everitt, though, knows to stay high and try and mastermind as much as possible off of the high line. Try and get that worn in a little bit. And the work is very much needed as he starts searching over the top on lap 7 of 75. Try and usurp the lead away again. Gonna look on that high line. Searching for every opportunity. Pronk is there as well. Steadman starting to maintain a look on the scene. And again, that low line is the better choice at the 2 at this point. And this has really put Pronk in a great position. But he doesn't have the overlap even in the tow. Try and make a move on Everitt, who again takes that big uber high line. Trying to get some drive off of the corners. It may have just opened him up here because he's lost the tow, which is going to be won by Jeremy Pronk, who's going to be going low side to try and take it away. And as they go, Stroh's going to have to manage 2 lines, it seems, at this stage, as Everitt again rushes on that high line. Air taken away from Pronk, who loses out in terms of it. Peters, by the way, and Barendregt are desperately trying to stay with this group. About 1.4 seconds back, and they're trading positions right now. Come on, let's work together. Let's get ourselves back up to this train at the front. There are opportunities to be had if they can start working together and get themselves in this race. But again, Everitt going to the high line, trying to make it happen here. And the patience once again needing to be had. And It's patience from the likes of Steadman and Pronk, which I'm really impressed with at this point in time. They're saving that fuel as they go too wide on the back stretch. Into 3 and 4 once again. And really, there's not much you can argue against this at this point in time. Been a simple start to the race for the front four. No cautions as of yet. Only Morales and Scott have found themselves wall-bound at this point in time. But as they charge, and try and get as much as they can from it, Everitt and Stroh. It's again Timothy Stroh maintaining an element of control at the front of this field. The group behind are starting to really close this one back in again, though. So it is going to be an interesting six-pack challenge here in the next few moments as Stroh falls behind Alex Everitt now, who regains the race lead. But now Jeremy Pronk starting to get back into the picture here and trying to follow the line of Everitt up high. Steadman there in fourth position has just been biding his time. And again, as they make it through 1 and 2 on lap 12, it's going to be a long one as they try and get themselves into play. Behind all of this, though, as they fight again for the lead, Leonardo Paletta has fallen backwards. He has dropped into the clutches of Jürgen Pedersen, so he's trying to manage the damage here. They do have a fast repair, but I think Paletta wants to take it in his stride and not make himself get out of position in comparison to everyone else. He wants to be on the same strategy, but Everitt with control. And look at this from Tim Stroh. Looking low through the mid part of the corner, trying to take it away here. And they're driving up wheel to wheel as the front six go. Stroh again, low line. Everitt's been working the high side in. And especially on a day like today, multi-groove racing is going to be crucial. Up again high goes Everitt. He's going to be followed as Steadman is through on Jeremy Pronk now. But here comes Pronk to the high line as well. Trying to get this sorted. Almost a malfunction at the junction between the leaders. One went low, one went high. And both of them were on the wrong sides to make that happen. So they checked each other up. And that miscommunication brings Barendregt into the group for the first time properly here on lap 14. It's taken him 14 laps to get there and a lot of working with Ollie Peters. But now, once again, Everitt with a search. He's going to that high line, trying to make it happen. And that's not working. Barendregt with a big move as well up top. He'll go around Steadman. He'll be in the wrong lane, though, as he tries to get himself power off the exit. Stroh as well is there. And this is where it gets dicey between the front six. Barendregt looking low on Jeremy Pronk now to move up onto the podium. He's been there all season long and he gets there. Sorry, Mr. Everitt, your old nemesis, your old friend. He's back there again and he immediately says, no, I want the front here. Give me the front against Timothy Stroh. And now it becomes a battle of 3 and 2 as they move through on the front. Barendregt trying to search for a way through, but as they stay too wide, it's okay for the moment. No need to risk the race as of yet. Stroh, though, again on that low side. Doing exactly what is needed here. And now you start to see Barendregt searching low, trying to find any advantage he can get his hands on. But the more they start scrapping like this, they'll allow Pronk back in, they'll allow Steadman and Peters back in. Up high and low now looks Everitt here. And almost washing out to the wall. That safer barrier is one Thijs Barendregt. But Stroh again, low off of the exit then, lap 17. Should be looking to take this away from Everitt. And now is going to be followed here by Thijs Barendregt, who is desperate to get through. He's going to wash a little bit. But ultimately, Everitt now is going to take the draft. You're on the wrong side of the train here, Thijs. Get back into line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 here at Michigan. Everitt again trying to slingshot around the outside. This time Barendregt will search low. He's probing here as Thijs. And this is so interesting to see a driver not afraid to just follow in the wheel tracks of the car in front. He wants to look up, down, left, right. He's got a compatriot behind in Jeremy Pronk. It's going to be an interesting showcase between some immortals of this series. Stroh doing a great job here at the front of the field. As everyone keeps an eye on it behind, the gap to Jürgen Pedersen and Leonardo Paletta has extended out to nearly 7 seconds. So they've done a really good job. They've made the race all about them. These 6, as things stand, have the ability to win this race. outright. Everitt going low, searching for the move. And it is a big search at that. With pack racing like this, track position becomes key. Not just for getting the run you want come lap 75, but also for coming down into the pit. Stroh again low. Barendregt now trying to search for that move on Everitt as well. And covering off the blocks. Every line. Shutting the door down low. Stroh trying to just take everything away from everyone, and it's working a treat. Stedman in the background losing the position then. Ollie Peters moves up into the top 5. He's got to stay with Pronk over the course of the mid-part here of this stint. Everitt back to control at the front. A little bit of sun peeking out will raise the track temperature, cause a little bit more understeer out there of the track. Stroh again, looking back to the low side, and Barendrecht's going to try and make the big slingshot power move. 3 wide through turn number 1. Barendrecht, though, is going to lose out and wash a little bit here in comparison to Stroh, who's going to get it, and then the power of the train comes into play. Barendregt cuts himself back down. Everitt using that run. Get low. Barendrecht's just trying a bit hard, you feel, at this moment in time. Searching for a bit of room to manoeuvre and to make the move for the race lead. And the struggle is there. Stroh again, pushing on that low line. These two at the front have been just taking away every little thing from this race. And they know on these 32-second laps that once you get gapped, that's it, you're gone. Paletta off the back, Pedersen off the back, Rogan Buck well off the back. And again, Everitt down low, looking to try and take it away, but expect Stroh now to gather that run out of 3 and 4 and try and make that run over towards the line. And they have been trading here. Now here comes Pronk. How much has Barendregt been using those tyres up to get himself up into position, try and move for the lead? Because he now loses out that 3rd place, but only for a moment. Barendregt has to move down low. Fear of a little bit of contact. 1st and 2nd again go too wide. They're working well here at the front. And then you've got 5th and 6th as well. Ollie Peters and Dave Stedman. Stedman has just been keeping himself patient as he's on the wrong side of the train. But again, here comes Stroh, looking for that race lead. And another change of position at the front as Pronk gets himself then on the back, having spent a handful of laps saving the tyre out there in this race. Again, the high side look now from Alex Everitt, trying to get as much of a drive out of the corner more than in. He will take the toe ever so slightly, trying to move up and side draft his way to alongside, and has managed to do so with aplomb. Barendregt as well is going to search low now, try and take that 3rd place away, and as he migrates up the track, he's able to do that. Everitt again, looking low. Behind Stedman, knowing that he had to make the move on Ollie Peters, does so. They're losing contact with the train in front. These 4 at the moment are the key to this race here on lap 25 of 75, moving to 26 here. As there goes Timothy Stroh into the lead. 1/3 of the race then already in the books. And it's gone by in 13 minutes without really too much argy-bargy out there here in this one. Still though, Everitt again searching low. They're going to be happy here in this race just to trade these positions. They want to keep the pace of the train high. They do that by changing who's working on the front. And also by them continuing to battle at the front, it seems that they are keeping those 3rd and 4th behind. Pronk started to fall backwards a little bit. Has brought the likes of Stedman back into play here in this group, as low looks Barendregt trying to get past Everitt again. Taking him a few laps to get back into a position to attack, but again, doesn't quite happen here. And Everitt now, the best defence is a good attack, and is going to use that to the advantage. Barendregt uber high on the line. Stroh will be happy to just sit in the line, wait for the chance to attack, and will do so. Going low, searching for it. Barendregt trying to search high. There's no room there. He lifts. Brings Pronk onto the back. The fan out 1, 2, 3, and 4 here at Michigan. And once more, patience is the order of the day. As lap 37 So lap 38 will mark halfway. Barendregt again trying the Uber high line, see if there's anything there. There isn't. But again, he needs a monster run out of these sections. Everitt's got nothing. And now Barendregt trying to get the double toe slingshot. He'll get by Everitt. Will he get by Stroh, though? I'll have to move up and try and block the pass. And does manage it. Tries to go low. And there, Stroh had to go under the apron. And Everitt's trying to force himself through a gap that doesn't exist. Oh, we're getting dicey here. It matters at Michigan. Everitt understeering through the corner. And somehow Barendregt is now able to hold on to second. Pronk in fourth has just witnessed an almighty battle in front. Barendrecht's going to go high. He's going to try and be followed by Everitt here, who maintains that low line, has confidence in Stroh. Case of how you want to play these games. And it has been tactical battling at over 360 kilometers an hour. Barendregt to the low side, looking to take a lap of lead here on lap number 30, moving to lap 31. And he will get it. As they will make the move, here will come Stroh, and Everitt's going to try and chase this one down as well. Loneliest place in the world is the front of the train, and Everitt pushing it 3 wide. Going to just scrub out on the low line. Barendregt getting very close there to the wall. Had to be very alert to that. There are certain ways where you get that polar effect where you can use the wall to shelter a bit and effectively funnel that draft, and sometimes that can work out in favour. So you've got to keep that in mind as well with the ever-evolving nature of the iRacing sim. Probably the most realistic simulator you can find out there on the market. Everitt there in third position. Still searching, still hoping that by all intent of metric, as Stroh takes the lead. Barendregt again searching underneath. But there is going to be an opportunity. Waiting there in 5th and 6th will be key. Dave Steadman and Ollie Peters. You can pit early, use some fresh tyre, get yourself to the front of the train. Maybe even break a second and a half. You've got a chance. I think that's the hope that you've got as into the pits comes Alexander Rogenbuck. Then to make his first stop on lap 32. So this is a scheduled stop, I believe, here from Rogenbuck. Hasn't tagged the wall anywhere. And will be looking to get himself through. And Paletta's in trouble down in the pits. So he's coming with very heavy damage. And he actually had that done coming out of 1 and 2, it seems. So tagged the wall out of 1, did Leonardo Paletta. Threw him down the track into the inside wall. And no caution cause for no spin. Stroh still with the lead, though. And look at this here from the leaders. Everitt was thinking about the middle. He goes low underneath, trying to follow Tim Stroh into the point. Barendregt will get a really nice run here. They're jockeying for position now because they know the pit cycle is soon to start. And lap 37 and 38 are going to be key. Steadman here and Peters, you'd feel, might need to start making a pit stop now. But they don't make that call. Just off the group. Paletta uses his fast repair. He'll get himself away again. Jürgen Pedersen now moves through into the pits as they go through. Now, this is going to be interesting. They've got Alexander Rogenbuck just in front, who has, of course, come out of the pit, so they can latch on to the back of him here. And if they're able to manage that, then who knows? We can see all sorts of interesting scenarios take place right now. Stroh able to get that run, but Barendregt trying to search low for it. Going to be trying to take it away. Still, it's all there as they challenge 1, 2, and 3. It's been a very tough 36 laps. A little bit boxed in is Stroh up on the high side. Everitt just covering low, but enough draft should be there to take that advantage away. Pedersen as well is trying to get himself up to speed as Everitt here staying low, tries to pit, and Stroh as well trying to pit as well. So they come in together, nowhere almost to go for Jeremy Pronk there on that run on the high side. That was very, very aggressive from both of them. Everitt in the pits ahead of Stroh is crucial though. Barendregt with control of the lead, got himself through Rogenbuck and has built himself a gap to Jeremy Pronk and Dave Steadman. He can use Jürgen Pedersen now as a slingshot, try and get into the pits this lap. And he indicates, I'm pitting in this lap. I'm going on the low side. He wiggles off of the apron slightly. They're still in the pits. Pronk stays out another lap. So too does Steadman. So too does the likes, of course, of Ollie Peters. Now, as they come out of the pits, this is interesting. There is Alex Everitt. And where is Stroh in comparison? He's a few seconds adrift here. So Timothy Stroh's really lost out in the stop. He's got a lot of work to do. And what's even more key is that Everitt's on the back of Rogenbach here. So he's going to now take a huge slipstream on his lap as he will try and get himself going. Pronk stays out for another lap. So too Steadman, but in comes Ollie Peters to make his stop. Where will Thijs Barendregt come out? He's getting himself up to speed now. Through will go Pronk, through will go Steadman. You've got to stay under that apron for a long, long time. And Everett's going to breeze on by. And he's going to get himself a gap. But Barendregt here can get himself up to speed quickly, get in the tow of those two battling for position, mind you, Pedersen and Rogenbach, and get himself back into play. It's not the end of the world just yet, but Everitt has pulled a blinder in strategy at this point in time. In comes Jeremy Pronk, the race leader now. Ollie Peters leaving the pits. And he should fall behind Everitt, who's just gone through. Barendregt trying to run the train. Past those two drivers, does so. Peters is going to come out just behind. One driver being Timothy Stroh. So it's well worked at the moment. Steadman's still out there, but he's diving into the pits now. So Dave Steadman with the most pedestrian run of all. Looking to dive into the pits. Rogenbach loses it and tags him from behind. Steadman is tagged from behind, coming into the pits by Alexander Rogenbach, who had lost it. Who had absolutely lost it. Steadman takes a tow. He'll get himself a short tow by comparison. What a shame for Dave Steadman. And that can very quickly be trouble. Rogenbach had lost all the air off of the rear of his car after battling it hard with Jürgen Pedersen, the Danish driver. And as you can see, it did not pay to be cautious. Bang! Nothing you can do. You can only just sit and watch and be a passenger in the mirrors. It's like sitting at a stop sign. And disaster finds itself in play. Alex Everitt with the lead, but he has been caught now by Thijs Barendregt. The second group has Pedersen, who is a lap down, but also holds Pronk and Stroh, who are trying to get themselves back to the front two at this point in time. It's a really interesting scrap back there for third, as the fight for first and second continues, because they've got to get around Jürgen Pedersen. And look at this. How aggressive do you want to be? We'll thread the needle on the front stretch in towards 1 and 2. Tim Stroh does not take prisoners for 100% poles. He's also 100% podiums. I'll be looking for that as well to be a huge matter of fact in this race. But Barendregt got himself to the race lead. They're working together, these two. Top two in the championship. Barendregt wants a third race win. And now it's game theory. From here on out, they know they are on lap 43 now of 75. They've got 33 laps to sit in and understand what they need and what they want. They're in the same call with each other. I doubt much is being said between them right now. But they know it's a long, long road to where they want to be out there in this race. Steadman a long way back now in the field. Ollie Peters trying to stay with Pronk and Stroh. And here's the key. How do you work together? It's 1.7 seconds here between the Pronk group and the Everitt group. They've got to get there. Of course, Thijs Barendregt now still out in front. They've got Rogenbach, though, as a slingshot to get there. That's going to be the key. Use it through the backstretch, but Rogenbach is so slow coming out of 1 and 2. Pretty sure there's damage there for Alexander, who kept himself going. And he's just going to try and stay out of the way now of these drivers as he tries to maneuver through. And it is quite a telling margin here in terms of pace. But that has helped that group. They've got the gap down to 0.6 of a second. It was a 32.2 from Stroh, a 32.9 from Alex Everitt. So there are differences being made. Some are trying to save the fuel. Others will feel they've got more fuel to burn by staying longer in the stop. Tim Stroh, I think, is the prime example, who's in the wall, going through into 3. That would have been a scare there for Timothy Stroh. Tagging the wall, coming into 3. Was looking on that outside. He just brushed against it. Nothing really too harmful. He's immediately going aggressive low against Thijs Barendregt. He wants to get back to the point, and he'll try and take it on Alex Everitt as well, and he will do. Look at that. 3rd to 1st in the space of a corner. Timothy Stroh is not going to be denied, but here comes Everitt straight back low. Looking for that place again. What a fascinating battle we are having here at Michigan. And this might just be the telltale sign that we see 3 weeks from today at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on December the 8th. The final round could be very similar to this. But as we know, this race is far from secure. Pronk just getting out of the draft a little bit here, trying to save some engine temp. Going so high into these corners. They're trying to cover off as much line as they can get. And say, if you want to make the move, it's going to have to be a block pass into 1 and 2. Barendregt happy to stay in 3rd, at least at this point, because he can conserve some fuel in comparison to Everitt, who is out there leading this race. And Everitt as well, saving this fuel, is bringing in some teammate help. Ollie Peters now on the back in 5th position. We'll get there. They are the only 5 drivers on the lead lap, by the way. Pedersen's a lap down. Stedman and Morales are also a lap down at this point in time. And so it leaves these 5 to fight it out for the victory. When do you want to make moves? When do you want to get through? Here, down low. Oh, this is interesting now. Ollie Peters. He'll buff it out through the middle. He's nearly got 2. He nearly got past Barendregt, but that will really disrupt the flow of the train. He'll fall back behind Thijs. Again, pushing low. Thijs stuck up high a bit. But it's okay for the moment. These 5 fighting for the victory. Rogenbuck, Scott and Paletta, by the way, are all 3 laps down at this point in time. Rogenbuck just behind. Scott not a million miles away. And Paletta in dead last on the backstretch. But now they're starting to fan out here. Barendregt going low past Stroh. Ollie Peters might have a look as well in the Crest Autosport car. Not going to get there. So it's really starting to get feisty in terms of what can you manage. Still got 25 laps as they cross the line. They're going to fan either side of Thijs Barendregt, you feel. Barendregt, though, comes up to cover off Timothy Stroh. And maybe get a launch on Everitt down low. Which, in turn, is going to make life difficult here for Ollie Peters, who moves up the circuit. Stroh gives enough room as well on that high line. He'll take the draft away from Peters, who will have to sit back into 4th position. Pronk has been the quietest driver of everyone in this group in 5th. He knows if there's a wreck between them, he's the one who benefits. They'll all still have their fast repair. They wouldn't have used it in the stop, but Everitt's 3, Barendrecht's 2. Stroh in the 44, Peters in the 1-2-1, making a big power move, trying to be rear gunner for Alex Everitt, and it's worked. He's got himself there, and look at Everitt immediately pulling low, try and give that draft to make sure that it's his teammate Ollie Peters up there in 2nd position. Work being done, and now Barendrecht's got to go against the machine if this wants to be the result that is needed. Again, now Peters going for the race lead here, and Barendregt will try and latch on to it here. Ollie Peters, for the first time since Phoenix, takes a lap in front. Peters started 7th. Barendregt started 9th. Everitt's going up to the high line and it's being forced up there by Barendregt. Almost contact as they go through. That was nearly 3 wide through 3 and 4. Barendregt does not want this to be the Crest Autosport GP box show. And Everitt's going to force it high and try and force him down low. Pronk is ahead of Stroh now, who will take some time to sit and wait. What a fascinating battle we have They've still got 21 laps of it yet. Peters going low. Everitt trying to run one around the outside. Pronk now searching low here on Barendregt. The two Dutch drivers getting themselves into play. And still, the Englishman and the Welshman out there at the front. Back in the pits again, just coming out of them is Alexander Rogenbach. He's had a torrid day. But Pronk moves up, takes away third for the moment. Barendregt happy to keep his foot in. Peters still covering it off. Incredibly low at this point in time. I wonder whether Tim Stroh here might just be the best driver of the lot right now in terms of positioning. Barendrecht's looking up. Everitt's there. Pronk's trying to follow that line. And they'll be ceremoniously bumped back down. And Barendregt is trying the uber high line. Trying to get something working here. Not quite getting the angle or the pace to manage it. But they've got Jürgen Pedersen now on the back of this as well, who is lap traffic. And now it gets interesting. 3 wide through 3 and 4. Peters covering it off fantastically well. But Barendrecht's making a play low. Oh, he's over the apron. Barendrecht's over the apron here. Now that's going to be really interesting to see whether they're going to allow that as a pass or not. Whether the stewards are going to have to look at that after the race, because that is a pass underneath the apron line. Barendregt will have felt he had to make that he was put himself in a position where he couldn't do anything. I'm sure Peters would have moved up were that the case, but it won't matter too much here. And they're going to funnel through. Pronk is through now, and Everitt moves up into second. So is that the game we're going to play then? Barendregt, for that big power move to the lead, a lap later finds himself in 4th. Some will say he's given that place back. It hasn't affected the overall momentum of this race. Pronk now going for the race lead on the outside of Ollie Peters. Everitt in 3rd. Barendregt is 4th. Stroh is now in 5th position. It's all about timing, and Peters washing up a little bit. This will push Everitt down low to try and steal this one away. How quickly you'll get freight trained, and now Barendregt starting to search high here. You're going to have to pick a lane. Pronk, who's incredibly low, and now you've got to search through 1 and 2. Everett's going to buff it out again on that outside. Barendrecht's going to have to leave that room. He'll have to buff it out. There's contact, and the teammates come together. Everitt and Peters come together. We stay green. Oh my goodness me. That is not what you want to see from those two. Big accident. Stays green at Michigan. Ollie Peters and Alex Everitt. And Everitt with some heavy damage out there. The caution comes out after Everett's troubles. And now we have a chance to breathe again. Everitt is desperately trying to get there. He has to take a tow. Barendrecht's got damage as well. He's come down pit lane. So dramas for both of the championship contenders, and it came in the form of an incident here at Michigan. The trouble being Barendregt on that high side, understeering is there, as we're going to catch a replay of it. The key here is that Ollie Peters just loses the air as he comes through off of the exit. He runs into Barendregt. We're going to see it right now from Pronk's perspective, and then all of a sudden there's no room at the in to go. Ollie Peters into Alex Everitt. And there's the dramas. And we're going to see it here for you right now. This is how quickly it can go wrong. You can see Ollie Peters, he's washing out. By the time he gets there, there's not much you can do. By the time he knew the car was pulling himself in, a bit of netcode in there as well, which certainly didn't help. There's not much you can do. You're a passenger at that scenario. Jeremy Pronk has control. Stroh in 2nd. Peters will be 3rd, and Barendregt will be 4th. And here's another look here. This is Alex Everitt's perspective of it. So he does the right thing. He goes low, but Ollie's always going low after that hit. You're going to have to be a genius to work out where you need to be. And that sort of hit doesn't help you. And basically Alex Everitt there trying to get that car to the pits, throws the caution out. And he now falls to 8th position at least here, a lap down in this race. Pedersen in the pits with Scott, with Peters. Barendregt is in, Paletta is in. I wonder here whether Alex Everitt took his fast repair at the pit stop. And that's why he doesn't have a car to his name. And if that is the case, and it does look like it is, then it's going to be all she wrote in terms of that one. Everyone getting their service and away again. It's worth noting Barendregt is a lap down now with Pedersen, with Morales, with Steadman. So effectively, this is the advantage that Barendregt has. He has these sorts of drop rounds to go and drop. If he doesn't finish on the podium, he knows that he can take a third essentially and make this round a nothing. So if you work it out by net math, he's still gaining 28 points and he will be in the championship lead heading over 1 week from today at Kentucky for 100 laps there. But we're still not out of the woods. It's Pronk who leads. It's Stroh in second. Ollie Peters, despite all of those hits, is still there in third. And we'll be on for a podium as things look at this point in time. But it's a Dutchman versus a German. Pronk's got 1 victory this season. Stroh, 3 pole positions, 3 podiums, but no victories at all. We're in for a treat here. Final 15 laps we are at this point in time of this race. Barendregt has stopped it out on circuit here. So something's happened here to Thijs. We'll have another look here at the incident. This is how it happened. This is Thijs's view. He's on that high line. He's holding it. He's holding it. He gives room. And as he comes off, it just goes into him. Thijs Barendregt, the front wheel's off the car. And he's trying to hold it together. But Barendregt had pulled the car over. And has got himself back going again. So whatever the issue was that Thijs had to deal with, he had to pull an emergency stop. He's in 7th position. And now Thijs has got an interesting battle on his hands right now. 4th car in the train is Dave Steadman. He's in 4th position. That's what Barendrecht's got to get through. He's got to get past Jürgen Pedersen and Alfredo Morales if he wants to get that sorted. This is a golden ticket as well, by the way, for Dave Steadman. He'll be back in the championship picture if it stays like this. 4th position. Doesn't seem like much, but he'll get some points out of it and move himself closer. So with that all in mind, Everitt has got himself back going again. He's 2 laps down now, though, in 8th position. And he's got to keep going and just make sure that he solidifies that 8th place. There is Jeremy Pronk. Pace car dives down in. We've got 12 laps of racing here from Michigan. Jeremy Pronk sends them off and away. We're back to green flag running here at Michigan International Speedway. Rogenbuck immediately pulls out of the way of Steadman and Morales and Andy Scott as well. As he is last in the train, Ollie Peters as well will go through in 3rd. And now the chase is on. And now here is the key to how this race will go. Here comes Stroh, looking for the race lead immediately from Jeremy Pronk. And will take it away without too many dramas. So they will run their own race. Morales is through on Steadman in the battle for 4th place. That's also going to be crucial there just behind. Paletta trying to make some moves through as well. He gets by Andy Scott. That's a pass for position up into 9th place. Everitt and Barendregt will be working together to make their way through the train as well. And now this is going to be a really interesting final few laps as traffic will make some great battles. Stroh again having to battle at the front here with Jeremy Pronk, who takes the high line. It's 1v1 as they go through. They've got 2 seconds on Ollie Peters, who's going to need a bit of help here to get there through Steadman and through Morales to close back up these 2 at the front. We got side by side then as they run through to 1 and 2 once again. And Jeremy Pronk has got to find the right line to beat car 44. Morales has got a great turn of pace at the moment. Remember, he had to pit early. He tagged the wall on lap 1. Pronk looks low side, searching for the move, and he's going to try and take it away, and he'll do so here on Timothy Stroh as they continue to put the lap times in and get what they need to. Everitt and Barendregt are searching hard for times as well. They're coming up to the back of Ollie Peters, and they've got to get past Paletta and get to Stedman and Morales, especially if you are one Mr. Thijs Barendregt, who's already through on Jurgen Pedersen and up into 6th position. He takes the air away from Everitt, who has to lift out of it. He can't afford to lose anymore. He's used the fast repair. He doesn't want to finish dead last here in this one. Side by side again for the race lead, as Pronk, going low, takes it away from Timothy Stroh once again. But Stroh will get the run here through the tri-oval and will be behind at the line. But he'll take it through into 1 and 2 once again. Morales is really steaming about, trying to get into play here, trying to get that lap back if a caution does come out. And that's going to be crucial. If he can get that lap back and a caution comes out, he'll jump back on the leading lap. Those two again side by side for the front. Pronk going low side. He's got himself the ideal position at the moment, but it's gamesmanship right now. At what point do you want to be where? And Stroh, making that drive again, will be behind at the line by about half of what he was last time. Takes the race lead away again. You've got Paletta there as well on the back of Stedman. Stedman's got to get by Morales, and this is the key to Stedman's championship right now. Must get by Morales. Pronk again's going to have a search, but on the back of that group, Barendregt charging. Ollie Peters there as well, who is third. You got Alex Everitt as well. I think Peters will be happy with third position here out of this race. Just manage it from here to the end. Paletta's trying to go low here on Stedman as well. And that's going to be no good for Dave Stedman as they go side by side once again. Pronk ahead of Stroh once more at the line. We got 6 laps to go. A caution inside the final 5 will end the race as it is. So keep that in mind as they go for the big moves. Everitt gets a pass done on Barendregt. It won't be for position though, but they're trying to work to get to that group. And Everett's got to disrupt as much as possible. Stop Dave Stedman, stop Alfredo Morales from being overtaken here in this sort of race. So now here comes Stroh again down on the oval. Again, he's not there enough at the line in comparison to Jeremy Pronk. Pronk is just mastering the runs on the back stretch and getting himself in the right position here. He's doing everything correctly to give himself the victory. Look at the group. Big crossover behind there from Paletta as he tries to stop Stedman getting a run at Alfredo Morales. This is some fantastic dynamics we're seeing here. And in the back as well, Barendregt side by side with Everitt, the 2 title contenders. Barendregt has got to get there. He's almost at the back now of Dave Stedman. He's got to get past both Stedman and Morales here in the final stages here. We're on 72 of 75. They've got 4 laps to go here at Michigan. And Pronk again will go for the inside for the lead. The battle for third on screen right now and more as Pronk searches down on that low line and will take it away. But Stroh again will try and get a great drive off of the exit. This is the best drive he's had all race so far. And for the first time, he's going to take it at the line by 100th of a second. He has it at this point. You've got Morales there, and the fight is now. Barendregt going low on Everitt. He's now got Stedman just in front of him. He tries to take another place away, and it's going to be a drag race here on the backstretch as they try and take it away. The train is there right now with Barendregt, and he'll take the place from Stedman. A fantastic move as he moves himself up now into 5th position, and he's got to get to Morales, but he's got to get by Paletta first. Stroh again searching for places here as they've got 2 laps to go here at Michigan, and he takes the lead through 1 and 2. Side by side, Paletta and Barendregt go. They're not fighting for position now, but pack racing it still is at this point in time. He's got to get to Morales and move up to 4th. That is the best case scenario for Thijs Barendregt, but he's so boxed in! Boxed in! He's in the fence! He's in the fence! Thijs Barendregt is in the fence. He's used this fast repair. He'll have to limp it around for the final lap, which starts with Stroh in the race lead. We stay green at Michigan, but Jeremy Pronk now has got to time this run well. He's on the outside here of 1 as they go through. Stroh's not had a race win all season. Pronk has already got 1. He'd love a second here. And Stroh, defending hard low, goes all the way to the apron. It's going to be now Pronk on the outside, trying to take this away. He's going to have to try and get a drive, but he's running out of room on that outside. Has he got enough draft? They're going to drag to the line. Stroh's got it by half a car. Stroh's got it by a wheel. He's got it by a wheel. 13 thousandths of a second. Timothy Stroh takes it away. It'll be Ollie Peters third, and a limp home. 3 wheels on my wagon for Thijs Barendregt. P7. It won't matter come the end of the season, but he had to give it a go to get to 4th. Oh, what a race. And this does shake the championship up quite nicely here at this moment in time. But let's get confirmation of a result then. Here from Michigan. A crazy race by every single stage of it. Those were the qualifying results as they got themselves all in form. But let's talk about race results then here. Timothy Stroh converts for the first time this season. His first victory, 13 thousandths of a second, the margin he managed to win by, ahead of Jeremy Pronk in second. Ollie Peters will get his first podium of the season there in third in the 121 car, with Alfredo Morales fourth. You can see Stroh very happy in the victory lane, doing doughies by the hedges. Fourth is Alfredo Morales, a lap down ahead of Dave Steadman in fifth, with sixth position belonging to Jürgen Pedersen. Barendregt nearly had fourth, found himself in the wall with 2 to go. 3 wheels on his wagon, was able to bring himself into play. 7th only today. Alex Everitt being caught up in the hit with his own teammate Ollie Peters meant that he could only manage 8th place 2 laps down. Leonardo Paletta had his hit early on. He was 3 laps down with Andy Scott. And Alexander Rogenbuck, 2 hits today, 4 laps down when everything was said and done. We're going to grab in a chat Alex Everitt here, as it's not the day that he wanted. Alex, I think that's the sort of thing where you say it's hard luck at the end of the day. You did everything right, you got down low, but in the end, it's your own teammate that takes you out.
Well, we've got to check the replay first of all before we say anything. But yeah, it's a shame that had to happen. It was an absolutely brilliant race until then, and I was really rooting on Ollie actually getting to the front. But we do need to check the replay. It's I was glancing at the replay when you were showing it broadcast here, and it was it's hard to tell. We're just going to have a look at it. But these things happen, especially in Indy. So, you know, because I got a bad result, yeah, but Thijs also got a bad result. So I'm not losing my head at the moment.
Absolutely. And how important is it that this effectively gets drawn under the line with the way the championship's gone so far, as effectively this race never happened?
Yeah, that's one thing to take out of it, but another thing is I've also had a few other bad races, including Richmond. Texas weren't great either. So we're just going to have to see how the points turn out after this, do all the calculations with drop rounds to consider. But let's just see. Let's just see. There's still 3 races to go, and anything can happen, as we've seen tonight.
Certainly can. Kentucky's 100 laps a week from today. Is this going to be a case where you've really got to stamp that marker down? It's a real day for you where you've really got to go out there and make something happen, it seems, next week.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head, yeah. Next week, it's win or bust. It's going to have to be from here on. I felt like I could have won tonight. It's hard to tell. It's hard to predict with big speedways like this. But I knew what lines I had to be taking at what time and at what point. When I had 2 cars in front of me, I know I had to undercut. When I had 1 car in front of me, I had to stick to the top line. I had it all worked out, and I'm sure I can do that again next time at Kentucky. It's a speedway I've gone well at in the past. So let's see.
Let's see indeed. Before we let you go, Alex, shout out to sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
Thank you to you guys yet again for putting on a great show. A thank you to all the drivers for adhering to the new qualifying system. It went 98% good. We took a few learnings out of it, and next time we try the system, we've got a few things to work on, but I think it's a goer for the future. Apex Tracks for sponsoring the series, huge thank you to them for donating the prizes as well, all of which are sitting next to me right here, and they look great. And thanks to my dad again for watching. Messaged me again immediately after the race saying bad luck. Last time it was well done, son. This time it's bad luck. So, yeah, both worlds at the moment.
Well, you make your luck in this series, and Alex Everitt there finding an 8th place finish overall from that one. Your race victor, though, Tim Stroh, here along for the ride. Tim, it's 100% so far this season when it comes to qualifying. You're the fastest when it comes to a single lap. For the first time this season, you've been able to convert that to a race victory.
Yeah, seems like it's about time. I've made some mistakes. I kind of made a mistake as well today. I didn't get on my pit limiter until I got out of the pits a ways, and Alex got a pretty good jump on me, so I had to burn more fuel than I wanted to, trying to catch up, but got lucky, fortunate to catch them. I was just chatting with the guys. I don't think I would have made it on fuel. At least I was in 6th grade or 6th gear, and I had it mapped out, and I still probably would have been a lap short. So fortunate the yellow came, and yeah, things just kind of worked in my way today.
So a bit of help there. How important was that help for you today, especially with the way that you were positioning yourself in the group just before that issue happened? You dropped yourself back to 5th position. You were hoping maybe that something would happen, a caution would come out somewhere, and it looks like it came out perfectly for you.
Yeah, I had a feeling something was going to happen. We were racing pretty close, and at this track, those speeds, it's a matter of time before somebody touches. I saw the wreck happen. I haven't seen the review yet or the replay yet, but I was hoping a yellow would come out then, and it seemed like it was delayed a little bit, but fortunately the yellow did come out, and I was just in a good position. Fortunate that did happen, or otherwise I think I would have ran dry probably on lap 74.
And let's just talk that final battle there with Jeremy Pronk. It seemed like lap after lap, Jeremy had the positioning against you going through until there was about 3 laps to go. You managed to wrestle back positioning out there on circuit and were effectively in the position where you were able to defend out of 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, I've raced with Jeremy a couple times, so I was expecting it to be clean. Here you can get a little bit of an edge if you do the swap drafting back and forth, so I was fine with letting him get me in 3 and 4, then taking it back in the front stretch. I wanted to get a little bit of edge over the pack behind us because you never know. When there's more people there, then you don't know what's going to happen. So I was happy if it was both of us. Then with two to go, I decided I was just going to try to kind of stay low and make him go around that outside. As long as he didn't get a big run on me, I figured I could probably at least get to the finish line first. So yeah, it worked out today.
Certainly did. You win by a wheel. So shout out sponsors. Who gets it done for you, Tim?
Yeah, I definitely need to shout out this week to my wife because I forgot to last week. So shout out to Jen for supporting me, allowing me to race whenever I need to. Yeah, and also my family. My brother is watching, I think, and my parents again. So appreciate it. Happy
wife, happy life, happy victory. Tim Stroh picking it up and they're getting exactly what was needed there. 3rd position overall, though, went to Ollie Peters, first time on the podium this season. Ollie, it's been a long struggle for you this season. We saw the pace and the promise over at Phoenix early on, round 2 of the championship, but from then it's been a little bit more of a tough struggle, and you'd say it was also a bit of a struggle today after the incident that you had between yourself, Thijs, and Alex.
Yeah, I was quite enjoying the race up to that point. Like, I'd been sat sort of like hanging off the back of the group by like a second. I was just watching what they were doing, figuring out like where the best lines are to run, and I figured that if I could get myself some clean air and just sit on the inside line just as I did, I could sort of stay there, and I knew that if anyone got in front of me I was in trouble. So I was just like, did my best to hold the lead. People got through, and then unfortunately the incident sort of stemmed from someone being in front of me, washed up the track, and then me and Thijs just our lines just converged a little bit, which was a massive shame. I mean, Alex had nothing to do with that, and he got taken out the worst, which sucks. Like, it feels like a bit of a hollow third, I can't lie, but at the end of the day we watched it back and it was a bit of a racing incident.
They don't ask you how, they ask you how many, and for you it's your first podium, but how important was it for you to just keep yourself calm in the final stages of that race? You were well away from the top 2 who'd built that margin to get away, but it seemed like you were in a very, very hectic pack that had 7 different storylines trying to race for points.
Oh yeah, I made sure after that caution I sort of looked where everyone was, and I just decided that I'm just going to get to the end now. It is what it is. I'll take P3. I mean, like you say, podium's a podium. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Nothing wrong indeed. But Kentucky then, do you feel like this is the sort of result that you're going to use to build on for the final 3 rounds of the season? Do you feel Kentucky's going to be a track for you?
Well, hopefully. I'm told that it's not a flat-out track like this one. It takes a little bit more skill to drive on it, so with a bit of luck, if it's anything like Phoenix, I'll be back at the front again.
Well, hopefully we'll see you there. Before we let you go, Ollie, shout out sponsors. Who gets it done for you?
Well, Crest Autosport do. Inviting me to the league, looking after me. Pretty great here.
Wow, living the life. Ollie Peters, third position. You're having every little bit of fun as he joins us. Final drive we're going to have a chat with here, Thijs Barendregt. Thijs, I'm pretty sure that's not the way you wanted to finish today, 3 wheels on your wagon.
Well, I thought Lewis Hamilton could do it at Silverstone. Why can't I do it? But didn't work out, did it?
No, it didn't quite, but you really had to work hard. It seemed like one-shot qualifying didn't really go your way today, and the importance of what you had to do and what you had to manage through that race was how to very quickly get up to the front and stay there.
Yeah, qualifying isn't my strongest part, but the racecraft itself and getting through the field, I'm pretty good at it at these kind of tracks. So I wasn't worried when I qualified 9th of 11 people and 10 people that actually qualified. Like, I wasn't that worried, but I know like I have to be careful, but I also know like I can save some fuel. Maybe that will help me.
Absolutely it will, but let's talk ourselves through the incident. You're stuck on the outside. Ollie comes up into you, and effectively your race then becomes a case of, well, what can I do and what can I find out of it? How important was it to not only reset after an incident like that, but try and make that challenge to go to 4th?
Yeah, I think about the incident, it's just unfortunate. Like, he had a bit of understeer, so he was a bit wider on the exit than he wanted to be, and just the lines crossed. And actually, before we crossed our lines, that code kicked in. We were just looking at it with the 2 of us, and it was just a tiny amount of netcode that just ruined it, and then Alex was the unfortunate party in there. But after that, I was just focused on getting as high as possible, and I think that's also why the second incident happened.
Floor's yours, Thijs. Who gets it done for you?
Well, BRT did an amazing job again, and awesome day again by everyone in the Crest Autosport IndyCar League. You've done an amazing race with amazing racecraft. Thank you, guys.
There you have it, Thijs Barendregt. Who'll be a little bit downtrodden, but I'd say his race isn't fully over and done with here in terms of his championship. In fact, I'd say he's been the biggest beneficiary out of all of what has happened today. But that's going to just about get it done for us here with Crest Autosport, here on Crest Autosport TV. If you've been watching, of course, on Facebook, YouTube and Twitch, got the option to like, follow, subscribe, whatever you want to do, share it around. Make sure everybody knows how brilliant Crest Autosport races tend to be. But this is where you start getting those races. Stakes are raised. Margins are finer. You get caught in an incident, championship changes. Championship changed today for both drivers. Now it's about how you realign and refocus. Kentucky is coming up next. We will see you 1 week from today when we take ourselves to round 10.